how are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. I never can properly say the word joining when I say just hello, so I can say joining any other time. So hello guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It works! On today's video, I'm really happy to share with you my latest recent dupes that I have found on my collection. Now, most of them, they are from the drugstore, but not all of them are from the drugstore. Some of them are a cheaper alternative. I want to make a disclaimer that I haven't been to buy anything specially for this video right now. Everything I have done and is on my face, not on this face, it's done with products that I have on my collection. Yeah, I want to make a disclaimer that the products that I'm showing you, I took those footages a bit earlier this week. However, I'm still wearing the same clothes, even the dragonfly necklace, the earrings and everything. I know this video will be a bit long, but I have a lot of products to share with you, and by the end of this video I will also let you know what I'm wearing on my face today. But yeah, those being said, let's get started. I'm going to start with a foundation that, you know, it's not my cup of tea. I like it mostly for the fact that it has great ingredients, and it's also claiming that if you wear it for 2-3 weeks you are starting to notice some improvements on the texture of your face. I did that when I firstly got it like 1 year ago. So I'm keeping this foundation on my collection, even though I've shown you that video where I have done a full face of non-favorite products. This was among them, and the reason is that I don't like how it settled on my fine lines, but this is not a bad product by any means, and I don't have other Charlotte Tilbury foundation on my collection. However, when I was testing this foundation, I've discovered that I have a dupe in my collection by L'Oreal, Infallible Fresh 24-Hour Fresh Wear, and this is on the shade 20 Ivory. But anyway, I'm afraid that the shade matches might be different, the numbers might be different in Europe versus United States, so from this reason don't take it, or take it a grain of salt, the shade that I'm telling you of some of Maybelline or L'Oreal products in my videos. And the Charlotte Tilbury, it's on the shade 3 Neutral. So this, I found it's a bit light for me. I don't know why it's light, because I'm usually matching her 3 shade on foundation and concealers, but this seems to be a bit light for me. I have to say that if I were to pick a winner, I think I will choose the L'Oreal Fresh Wear foundation, and you will see by the end of this video I took a footage after 6-7 hours of wearing those foundations. You will see which one it looks better on my skin. The second product, it's a concealer, and one of my high-end concealer. I don't have many to begin with, but this is the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. How many times I have shown you this concealer on my video? Besides the fact that it has this very fat applicator that it's sometimes goopy, because when you pull the product out it overflows and it makes some mess. I do believe this is a wonderful formula and one of the best concealers that I've tried. So I have it in the shade 1 Neutral N, right? 1 Light N. It's perfect dupe, maybe not on the shade. This is the first lightest shade, the second one it's a bit too dark for me, but as a formula, coverage and long wearing, I think those are identical. It's basically the same product. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Concealer in the shade 1N Ivory, and this has a doe-foot applicator, which I much more prefer. But both these products, I find them, they are really offering really good coverage, they are really long lasting, doesn't settle onto my fine lines, and they look fantastic all day on me. For setting powder, now I have this Laura Mercier, which is in a mini size. It's her translucent setting powder, and it's closest dupe that I could find in my collection. I want to make a disclaimer, I do not have so many setting powders to begin with, which is a good thing because I do not intend to collect too many powders. So is this Cover FX Translucent Light, a perfect setting powder in the shade Translucent Light, and I actually prefer more this powder. So this is not a drugstore product, but anyway it's a bit more convenient as a price, like it is the Laura Mercier, and offer the same things to my face. It set perfectly the face. Actually, I find that during summer the Laura Mercier it's a bit more heavy for me, whilst the Cover FX, I love the fact that it has better ingredients, gives me a light setting, doesn't make my face over oily by the end of the day, and also I love the friendly container. It's really good for travel. I think I have mentioned this on my channel because I have it from a long time. So I have it from 1 or 2 years. You can securely close your powder and do not care that it will spill inside your bag. So really good product from Cover FX. So you see in one of category I showed you as a high-end product Cover FX, and the other part I showed you as a cheaper alternative. Now there comes the most proud of my dupe findings on this year or on this video. So you all know I am deeply in love with my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. I have it on the shade Fair Medium. Now, the perfect dupe beside the application, I could find it on the drugstore, and is by the brand Max Factor. They even have the same kind of twist open applicator, which if you are not careful and you don't close it after you apply the product, you might take the chance to spill it inside your cap. I didn't do that, but I heard some of the YouTubers which are mentioning the Charlotte Tilbury one that we should be careful to not forget the twist open. But I never heard anyone talking about this product from Max Factor, which I think is genius. So this is the Miracle Sculpting Wand. So this one, I have it on the shade Light Medium. Really good, perfect. This is the identical dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, and the price is like maybe 1/3. I will have total up all the prices by the end of the video, and I will put them on the screen, how much I paid to do my high-end face of makeup versus how much I paid to do my drugstore. So anyway, I will also put the prices comparison on the screen, but this is really cheap. And one other interesting thing is that Max Factor also have the highlighting wand. I was able to see it on the store in the beginning of the fall, or maybe during summer. I think it was not the fall. But when I purchased this contour wand, they did not have any more. That is discarded from the physical stores. However, I have seen it online, and I think I might grab it because I know that Charlotte also has the highlighting wand. I'm not sure if I will purchase that because it doesn't justify for me to have two high-end products, especially due to the fact that I'm not such a big highlighter junkie. But if by any chance maybe I will get it in some subscription or for some bag or some promotion, let's say like this, it will be nice to have a dupe. Because what happened is that the contour wand, I bought it earlier. I even didn't know about the dupe from the drugstore. Let's continue with brows, because I don't have so many high-end brow products. I have my brow blade, which has in one side the pen, and on the other side you have your felt tip, your slim pencil. Now, I have this product maybe from almost 2 years, and I haven't used it so much. The reason is that I'm not using it so much is, to be honest, the fact that it doesn't have a spoolie, because I much more prefer to have a spoolie on my brow pencils. But my L.A.Girl Shady Slim pencil has the spoolie, and maybe you will not think that the shades are similar, because this is more waxy. And one other thing that I mentioned on my favorite video is that I find some of the drugstore brow pencils are becoming easily more drying comparing with the high-end ones. So I think their formula it's a bit more better prepared on the high-end side, so that is a plus if you are investing in more expensive brow products and you have a lot of them. You don't go through them so fast, but I think those products are really dupe for each other. I was a bit like a heavy-handed when I've done my left brow using the brow blade by Decay, but other than that I think they are perfect dupe. So there is that. And guys, please excuse, I have noticed after I did a recording that I've applied foundation on my hair in one of the sides, and I will sit throughout of my entire recording of the footage, so I'm sorry for that. Sometimes when we are filming we don't realize what is outside of our face. For setting brows, I have the Too Faced Brow Quickie in the shade Universal Taupe, which has this wand, and actually I can tell that this is kind of finished. It has little fibers, and from this reason sometimes I'm even using it by itself. And the closest dupe that I could find is my L'Oreal Age Perfect Brow Densifier in the shade Ash Blond. So the actual spoolies are different, but the product, the staying power and the actual feeling when I'm wearing those products, it's the same. So for me they are dupe in my collection. So when I will finish the Too Faced, I will not repurchasing because I have the cheaper alternative from the drugstore. Actually this I bought it on sales on Sephora, so I paid like half price, but I think even the half price of this it's a bit higher as a price than the L'Oreal one. Eyeshadow primer. I have my Nars Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, which is in a tube with a tofu applicator, and again might not be the same shade, but this NYX Proof It waterproof eyeshadow base, not only that it's okay, they don't have the same shade. So the NYX one it's a bit more milky, buttery, whilst the Nars it's white, like translucent, so you might not see the swatches from the Nars. And I do believe that the NYX one makes my shadow last a little bit longer. So you will see by the end of the day how it looks like. Spoiler, I already know because I took the spoiler, I already know because I took the footage earlier, as I said, otherwise I wouldn't know that. Moving on, we are speaking about bronzer. So one of my all-time favorite high-end bronzer is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer, that I have it on the shade medium, and is this giant pan. This is a lovely formula, a product that I swear by. Even since I did that review, I told you that I have 2 dupes on my collection. So one of the cheapest alternative is the Maybelline City bronzer on the shade medium warm. So this is matching the best with the shade medium from Charlotte Tilbury. So maybe I should show them side by side. Now the only difference is that the Maybelline one it's a bit more warm in tone, but God forbid you will not notice that on your cheeks. So I apply them in each side of my face and I cannot tell the actual difference. So love those products, and sometimes I'm even reaching more often for my Maybelline one. The Maybelline one I think has a slight sheen to it, but also it's not noticeable. As a blush, you know that I swear by my Chantecaille cheek shade on the shade Louder, and it's beautiful, has this satin sheen to it. Now for this, unfortunately I don't have a drugstore alternative. The closest dupe that I could find on my collection is this Makeup Forever. So they even have the same type of the sheen. But can you tell the difference on my cheek? So this is the Artist Face Color on the shade B302. This is the Makeup Forever and this is the Chantecaille. And if you look at the product, you take like double quantity of the product on the Makeup Forever blush, and this is refillable. You can buy it and put it in your Z palette. Of course, nothing compares with the actual feeling of having this luxury product in your collection, having this beautiful embossed print, which I don't know how much it will last because I've used it several times and it's still the same. So I find that the Makeup Forever has a bit more peachy tone. So the Chantecaille, it's leaning toward pinkish shade, but other than that on my cheeks, can you tell the difference? Highlighter. I also don't have so many highlighters on my collection, but I'm deeply attached to my Ofra mini highlighter in the shade Blissful. Even though this seems a bit darker for my skin tone, it's a more like a champagne, and look at how smooth and buttery is this shade. I have found the dupe in my collection, and this is the Morphe High Impact Highlighter in the shade Spark. Those are almost identical, even as a formula, not only as a shade. Most of my eyeshadow palettes are from Highend, so I have very few drugstore palettes, and as I told you, I wasn't going to shop properly, particularly for this video. So the only dupe that I could find on my collection is for the Naked Reloaded eyeshadow palette, which is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow palette. And the closest dupe that I could find is by the C Color Cosmetics, the Favorish eyeshadow palette. Actually, this palette is a dupe for the ABH Sultry palette. When the Sultry palette was launched, it was also suspected to be a dupe for the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded, or vice versa. I don't know exactly. So you can tell the color story, it's similar. They have similar shades, but the palette is not an entire dupe. So I don't have the Sultry palette. At some point I was thinking to buy it because I have seen it in sales on Sephora. I didn't do it, unfortunately, so from this reason I'm showing you what I have in my collection. I thought that I have too many ABH palettes. For this look I have used the shade Bucked, which I think it's really similar with this one from the corner. Unfortunately, this palette doesn't have shade name, so this shade of brown. I also use the shade Bridge on my to fix my transition and on my brow bone, and its corresponding shade from the Favorish palette. And then I went to my right side and I took the shade Endgame and the corresponding dark brown from this palette to intensify my outer V and my crease. And for my lid I have used the shade Burn. Those are more different in shade, and this shade over here I found they are a bit more dupe. So from this reason, what I did after that on this look, I have used the shade from here. One thing I love about the Naked Reloaded palette, it bends and it takes less space, and even you can put it like this on your desk if you want. So I don't want to force it too much. Can you tell by the end of the look that I'm wearing two different eyeshadow palettes on my eyes? I think just on the right side might be noticeable the fact that the shadows are a bit more intense because I was using two shades to build up the actual shade lid, just for the fact that doesn't have the same color. And on my inner corner I have used On my right side I have used this shade, which I actually like it better than the shade Angel Fire from the Naked Reloaded. I find this shade is more chalky and is my least favorite shadow from the entire Naked Reloaded eyeshadow palette. Moving on, mascara. So this is the Dior Show Iconic Overcurl Mascara. Actually, the mascara that I am showing you is quite old on my collection, so I think I should part ways with it, but I cannot do it due to the beautiful packaging. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara in Intense Black. So, the wand. This is plastic. This is natural fibers, but they are quite similar, and is by far my favorite type of wand. Now, the formula on this Maybelline is a bit more thin. Also, due to the fact that the Maybelline one it's new, I just opened it for the test and the purpose of this video. But I really do think that they are acting the same, are giving me the same result, length, volume, separation, and they don't smudge, they don't flake whatsoever by the end of the day. So I can rock 10 plus hours using any of those products. But because I have the Maybelline one, I think I will not repurchase the Dior. And I think we finished with everything. We have only left our lips. Yeah, so lip liner. I wanted to dupe my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, which I'm going to swatch it here. And I have this lip pencil by Makeup Revolution Satin Kiss Lip Liner in the shade Heart Race. So they are slightly different in tone. Of course, if we are speaking about Pillow Talk lip liner, then we also have to mention the Pillow Talk lipstick, the Matte Revolution lipstick in the shade Pillow Talk, which is gorgeous. Now, for the Pillow Talk, for the Matte Revolution Pillow Talk, I have two dupes. One is from the drugstore, and it's more dupeable in the formula. This is the Catrice Demi Matte on the shade 030, and actually it looks a bit more pigmented, so this is the Catrice one, you can tell. But I think the shade, it's slightly more similar with the MAC Shine. I don't know exactly what is the name, but I'll put it on the screen, in the shade Cosmo Amplified. This is a well-loved lipstick in my collection, and I think it's one of my first MAC. So you cannot tell this because the MAC one is more creamy, has more sheen, whilst the Pillow Talk it's a bit more matte. But if I blot it, I don't know why I was not thinking to do that on the actual demo. I think the shades are very, very similar. Now I will give you a bonus also by a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, because I was obsessed recently with her lipstick. This is the Hot 2 lipstick on the shade In Love with Olivia, or Olivia, and this is, I'm wearing it today. Actually, when I bought it, I didn't care so much for it. I thought that the shade is washing me off, but I grabbed it one day from my daughter's hand. So if you are wondering why my daughter doesn't appear so much on my videos, this is that she cannot be trusted around my makeup. So from this reason I cannot sit and film while she's here, because she will not stay beside me, but she will try to put all of my makeup on her face. So that's why I'm filming when she's sleeping, when she's at kindergarten and stuff like that, because we cannot have a good and friendly collaboration together, to say like that. So coming back to the In Love with Olivia, this is how it swatches. This is more creamy, it's not like a Pillow Talk. And I will also swatch the Pillow Talk just as a comparison, so you can tell the actual texture. This is creamy. It's more suitable and comparable with the MAC lipsticks. And for this I have a MAC lipstick as a dupe, a amplified lipstick in the shade Half and Half. Are they not dupes? You tell me, but I'm wearing them on my lips today. I have the MAC lipstick on the right side and the Chalotte Tilbury on the left side. Can you tell that I'm wearing two different lipsticks and two different lip liners? If you do so, please say it now. The last thing that I'm going to dupe with you, it's a gloss. And this is the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine on the shade Obsessed. And I'm really obsessed with this gloss. Has a minty scent and it's a bit sweet. When I'm placing this on my lips, they're a bit sweet. I love that. Now again, they don't have the same shade. You'll see that's different in tone, but as a formula, I think the Catrice one Generation Plump and Shine Lip Gloss on the shade Nude Sapphire, almost the same product. And actually the Catrice one, I find it that being a bit more opaque. Was the Urban Decay, it's a bit more sheer. But can you tell they are different products when I have them on my lips, like it's shown on the footage? I don't think so. They are looking exactly the same. For my eye makeup, you might see me that I've used different brushes. So I think the AOA Studio, some of the AOA Studio brushes are dupes for my Zoeva. Like for example, this one, the E126, can be easily taken as a dupe for the Zoeva 228. The AOA Studio, it's a bit more fluffy. And the other dupe, I actually didn't use it, but I want to show you, is the AOA Studio E129, which I think it's a dupe for my Zoeva 227. So those are more similar. Can you tell the difference? And I think those are like $1 a piece. As you can tell, by the end of the day, I have noticed that both my foundations were quite similar. Actually, I like better the side where I have applied the L'Oreal, because I think the foundation doesn't settle so much on my fine lines, on my pores. And also I can tell on the smile line that on the Charlotte Tilbury side I have more crease. But this might be due to the fact that I was using a heavy hand on my Charlotte Tilbury. I remember that one pump should be used to do your entire face, and I've used one pump to do my half of the face. That's why the foundation ended up on my hair on the other day. The bronzer, the blush, highlighter, everything looks similar. The lip liners remain a bit, and you can tell on the side where I've applied my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk liner, that one is a little bit more present on my lips, whilst the Makeup Revolution has almost faded. Because my Makeup Revolution is also, I said again, Makeup Revolution, I cannot believe. Because the Makeup Revolution one, it's a bit more creamy. The most noticeable thing, it's on my eyeshadow. You can tell that the side where I'm using the affordable alternative, the C Color Cosmetics palette, the actual shadow looks more vibrant. The guilty for that is the base. I told you that the NYX waterproof base helps the shadow last longer on my lids. So yeah, we found that the actually affordable alternative is even better. And I promise you that I will show you by the end of the video what I'm wearing today. On my eyes, I'm wearing the ColourPop and Catherine Light's Dream Street eyeshadow palette. And I'm wearing the Magical, Potion and Elfish as my transition, crease, and then define the crease. So in this order, 1, 2, 3. Then on my lid I'm using the Stardust and the Sweet Dreams. I put it on the inner corner and interior side of my eye. On my lower lid I went with the Magical to define and frame the lower lash line. Then I went with my Mermaid Bay. And on the top of that, I smudged a bit the Water Bearer, this matte teal shade, or I think it's a blue, this matte like blue, dark blue shade, just because I thought the Mermaid Bay doesn't show up by itself, it needs some base. So usually I think it's recommended to use first the matte shade and then to put the shimmer. Those being said, I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy life and spend it, share it with me on this platform. I highly appreciate and I'm really grateful for all your sweet comments, for your likes, for your beautiful messages that you are leaving on my videos. I'm definitely thankful and really appreciating each and every one of you. But yeah guys, I would highly appreciate if you will share this video with as many people as you can, as I think more people should know about those wonderful and affordable products for our high-end favorites. And other than that, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe if you are not already, and I'm looking forward to see you again on my next video. Have a blessed, beautiful day ahead. Bye you guys!